Well, it's that time of year again where we sit down and watch our favorite Christmas horror movies and maybe try to find something new. 2024's He Sees You When You're Sleeping by Charlie Steeds and written by David Lennox is a Christmas horror that follows a character named Chester, a paranoid young man who is freshly released from a mental institution where he's been staying to get through the trauma of a night where an axe-wielding Santa Claus murdered his family. He's picked up by his girlfriend and taken to the house he grew up in to spend Christmas with his aunt's side of the family. During this time, there's a plot from the aunt and her family to take away Chester's inheritance that he received from his father's estate and send him back to the mental institution by making him believe the killer is back to get him. Once people start dying off for real from an axe-wielding Santa, the game is on. Now, this seems like a pretty decent setup to a film, borrowing story points from Silent Night, Deadly Night, and My Bloody Valentine, but the execution isn't there. The writing is very dense, with a lot of exposition dumps from characters talking to each other, filling in backstory, and telling each other things that they already know. The acting is anywhere from bad to mediocre, with David Lennox as Chester feeling flat and wooden. There's no real likable characters in this film except Chester, but that's only because we feel bad for him after watching his family get murdered by Santa. What could have made this movie a lot better is if it were a horror comedy. The fact that Chester's family are all mustache-twirling villains, especially his cousin, who's just a straight-up sarcastic dickhead to everyone, even rubbing off on Chester, in a scene where he puts down a random cop for only being a deputy, could have played really well. It would have made the performances by everybody make more sense. The kills in the film are pretty basic axe murders with a few kills using Christmas-themed items. The gore and makeup effects are very minimal, which is also disappointing, and there's nary a stray boob to be found, which, again, if you're making a slasher movie, you should probably have copious amounts of blood, creative kills, or boobs, and that would have made this offering a lot more interesting to watch. I like a good fraud caper, but the way the characters are written in this movie just doesn't give us any red herrings or breadcrumbs to follow. Everybody is just immediately in on the plot, and we just watch the events happen until the movie ends. The ending is also very underwhelming, though the end of the film is more action-packed than the first act, which is just something that kind of plods along. If you're looking for a background Christmas horror movie, I guess this would do you well. Or if you're looking for a tame starter horror, this movie could also serve as that, but don't look for any award-winning anything from this flick. It's very much a slasher by numbers that just barely crossed the threshold from PG-13 to an R rating.